Today's world is very different from that of the Cold War and even World War II. As we mentioned before, the nature of the enemy has changed. They no longer wear uniforms, they're not countries, and they're very difficult to actually find. Because of this, the nature of the threats we face today is radically different from those of the past, and as such, different policies are required now. The United States today faces very real threats to its national security. Extremism and international terrorism still flourish in many parts of the world, requiring the United States to engage in diplomacy, foreign aid, intelligence gathering, as well as traditional military and defense policies. Beyond this, regional conflicts have serious effects on our national security interests. Further, hostile foreign governments and terrorists are seeking to acquire weapons of mass destruction and materials to produce them. And finally, illegal drugs are smuggled into our country every year across the borders. Yet the newest threat we face, and perhaps the fastest growing, is those dealing with cyberspace. Cyber threats to our national and economic security increase each year in both frequency and severity of impact. As such, the traditional policies have to adapt too. Through diplomacy, we have to work with other countries to stop cyber attacks before they even begin. We have to use our intelligence gathering apparatus, as well as those working for our allies around the world, to do this. In doing so, we target foreign aid to countries which might actually be hotbeds for cyber terrorists. And finally, elements of our military are training more men and women each year in the ability to combat cyber terrorism. Yet a new issue is transitioning its way onto the foreign policy agenda: climate change. In his State of the Union address in 2015, President Barack Obama said that climate change was the greatest threat to future generations. He cited reports from the Pentagon saying that climate change poses an immediate risk to the nation's national security. In military reports, global warming and climate change were considered a threat multiplier, saying that sea rise and the increasing number of severe weather events could exacerbate the dangers posed by threats ranging from infectious disease to terrorism. The military, in response, has adopted climate change adaptation. In doing so, it has begun to boost its resilience and ensure that mission readiness is not compromised in the face of sea level rise, increasing irregularity of natural disasters, and food and water shortages in the developing world.